Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for Closing the Wealth Gap. The one show, maybe the only show, that shows you how to close the wealth gap in your own life with the man who's done it for many, our wealth coach himself, Tyrone French. Hey, Tyrone.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Closing the Wealth Gap. I'm your host, Tyrone French. Hey, before you get comfortable and, grab your favorite drink, what I want you to do is look at your phone. And if your phone is off, turn your phone on. And what I like for you to do is type in TyroneFrench.com. That's TyroneFrench.com. Go to my website and click on services and download my free app. If that's too many steps for you, I want you to text Tyrone French to 36260. Again, Tyrone French 36260, or type in TyroneFrenchApp.com. It's a free mobile app that has so much information, that calculators, articles. I have a financial wellness platform that will give you a free world-class financial plan. And so, did I mention it was free?
Free. See, that's the problem. I always, something's wrong. It's free. I don't know. That's too easy.
Well, again, I wanted it to whereas I didn't want to discriminate against anybody, because sometimes you can be priced out of the market based on services. Yeah. Matter of fact, I had to do that to somebody this week. Somebody didn't really want to work with him, so I kind of put my foot,
$1 million.
Put my thumb on the scale a little bit. I was like, well, that's too expensive. I said, well, maybe 2 years from now when everything gets better. But anyway, I just want everybody to have my access to my information and, have access to me 24/7. But thank you for tuning in to Closing the Wealth Gap. I enjoy being here. We're going to have an exciting episode. I got my good friend, Roberts, that we're going to have a conversation about VA healthcare and why is it so difficult for certain veterans to plug into the system.
And I'm going to preface it by saying you were kind enough to, I'll do a quick plug. We have a new show on veterans on the network, Veterans Strong. You might want to check it out. And this guy who deals with veteran health, he has a equine therapy, horses, and working with veterans to get over equestrian therapy to get over PTSD and other sorts of things. So very unique, fascinating things, built a foundation about it. And so you and I were talking, and I said, why is it that we never connect our wealth and our health? It's one or the other. I'm trying to get healthy or I'm trying to get wealthy. And one without the other doesn't mean much.
It's funny. I connect it like this. It's happiness, health, and wealth. Yeah. And these three are one. They're not separate. You can't have one without the other.
That's what I'm saying. They always think of them separate. Yes. Today I'm happy. Today I'm wealthy, but I'm sick as a dog.
No, they're all connected. To me, it's three causes to generate an effect.
Well, you're a wealth coach mostly, so we call you. That's the title we give you. But for you, because they're connected, you all the time coach people on the healthcare system for veterans. That's what we're talking about today. Well, because there are economic reasons to do it. There are health reasons.
Absolutely.
Give the one story. Don't say your friend's name, but you had a friend that waited, and what happened? Well,
I have PTSD. I suffer from PTSD, and it just, again, that trauma was based on something that happened to me while I was in the military. And I was in the Army, and I was in the Navy. And, a lot of veterans...
That's stressful enough. Yeah. Most people do one service. You came back and did two.
Yeah, but, because of sometimes you're in stressful situations, you create these bonds with people on active duty.
Right.
And sometimes those bonds last for a lifetime.
Right.
And I even have a veterans group right now where, we tend to meet every single year. And,
for how many years you've been doing this?
We've been doing this for like 7, 8 years now.
See?
And, but what I've noticed is that, going back to one of my friends, he, came into the fold and started coming to the reunions. And he wasn't plugged into the VA system. And, it's like, well, you need to go ahead and start this process. And if anything, based on the squadron that you were in with us, you're probably going to receive compensation and health care, maybe dental, all these things. And
but he
vacillated. He vacillated, put it off. And finally it was like, man, you really, need to go ahead and take care of this because you're entitled to these benefits. And see, the thing is, a lot of veterans are guilt ridden.
Yeah.
Because they think that they don't deserve the benefits because they didn't lose a leg.
I'm not that.
They didn't lose an arm.
Right. I'm not that bad.
I'm not that bad, But the thing is, it's based on the contract you served. And so that survivor's guilt is real. It's real. It's like sometimes I was hearing about this one guy, Marines, they were in the Humvee and they hit an IUD and, the driver was killed. Okay. And so his guilt was that he survived.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Why him and not me? And so a lot of times veterans look at it based on, hey, I'm not that bad, so I'm not going to plug into the system. Well, anyway, make a long story short, he finally decided to start the VA process. Went to the VA, got the application, got his ID card, scheduled to talk to a physician there. And lo and behold, they found he had a heart defect.
Oh. And
he was scheduled to start his treatment. And again, sometimes people look at VA care and they think that, that it's subpar care. And
right.
That has not been my experience. And that hasn't been a lot of experience of a lot of friends that I know. But it's like they set up a date to where they was going to start his treatment, because again, this was something serious and you couldn't put it off. Well, lo and behold, before he could start the treatment, he had a heart attack and passed away. And
wow.
Not only that,
and how do you go to I'm assuming he's married or had kids or something.
Well, no, Charlie, he wasn't married.
Okay. But somebody loved Charlie. Somebody of his friends were Charlie. And how do you go to those people and say, man, this didn't have to happen?
And the thing is, even with the funeral arrangements, the family didn't go through the VA as far as the funeral arrangements, which he was entitled to. He was entitled to those services.
One of the honors of doing it, to have the bugle blown and the headstone and all the other stuff, whatever they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I don't understand. I don't understand the avoidance. Well, actually, let me take that back.
I think you do understand.
I can't understand it because for years I didn't apply for my benefits.
See?
And it took, again, the group of all of us coming together. And, it was one guy in the group. He was at 100% rated, permanent and total. And at the time, we didn't know what that meant.
Right.
We just knew 100% was a lot.
Yeah.
Because you could be rated 0% with the VA or 10% or 20%.
This is a disability rating?
It's a disability rating. Okay. So some of the guys in the group was like, well, wow, how did you get such a high rating? And my thing was like, wow, you know what? Congratulations on that rating. So other people within the group started filing for their VA benefits. And again, this is not something that they're just going to give you. It's based on your a condition that you have and evidence. And so, and a diagnosis.
But you pointed out one thing. I'm gonna dial back, because we've talked about this a couple of times, and it's always my mouth is wide open. I'm struck dumbfounded. I can't believe some of the things that you tell me are here. One of the disabilities might be that you simply served next to one of these trash burns or something, or on a certain type of environment. You're on an aircraft carrier on the flight line, and by definition, you got damaged.
No,
if you were just there, the assumption is, yeah, you probably suffered something.
Well, they got this claim for Camp Lejeune.
Yes, I see it all the time.
Just to drinking water.
Right.
Just drinking the water or taking a bath in the water.
Because it was so contaminated with whatever the weapons oil spilled, whatever goes into a military base, there was nasty stuff getting into the water.
Yeah, so they created the PAC Act just to cover those, meaning that you have presumptive claims. You don't even have to prove it.
That's the word. If you were there, the presumption is something bad. You probably got something bad, and you qualify.
Based on the evidence and the condition that you have, the presumptive, they assume, because we put you there.
Yeah, right.
You didn't ask to go there. We put you there. So because we had you in that environment,
right,
we have a responsibility and an obligation to treat you.
And it may not be the most obvious. Yes, you were in the jungle of Vietnam and they dropped Agent Orange on you. That one got to be pretty obvious. Took a while for them to sort of admit that and get around to it. But you talked about other sorts of places like just talk about being on a flight line, on a flight deck on an aircraft carrier.
Well, again, when you look at everything that's going on a flight deck carrier, which is just the basic fueling.
Yeah.
Just the fumes from the fuel alone
that you're breathing.
Yeah. And again,
and the noise and
the environment to see somebody being blown overboard is traumatic.
Right.
Some guys jumped overboard because they wanted to go back to the Philippines, but that's a whole different story.
I'm coming, honey.
Yeah, but just to see somebody blown overboard or to see,
sucked into an engine or something.
Yeah, and
that was something else.
And again, I'm not making this stuff up. You can literally go on YouTube and pull up some of these videos based on mishaps on aircraft carriers, and you'll see it for yourself.
So you told me something else that my mouth went, what? You were not in active combat, as I recall. And yet, you saw people die. People died around you. People you knew died. Why? Because of accident. Because it's a dangerous profession.
But that's the misconception. People think that you have to be in combat. No, you got people that die in training. You got people that die in basic training, or just doing the mission. I was in VQ1 during the Cold War.
What's VQ1?
It's a reconnaissance squadron.
Okay.
And so, in a reconnaissance squadron, electronic reconnaissance, our job was to monitor fire control. And so what that means is that every fire control system has a signature, electronic signature.
Okay.
And so what we would do is we would monitor those frequencies. And so based on them firing up their fire control, we knew exactly what type of system that it was.
Kind of missile or whatever, yeah.
That's right. So therefore, the attack aircraft or the fighters, they understood what those signatures were, and they understood what the capabilities were. So
and
it's
avoidance procedures.
Exactly. So we knew the enemy's playbook. So VQ1, our motto was, in God we trust. Everybody else we monitor. But again, based on those missions, people got killed, even though they weren't declared wartime. If you were in the wrong place and at the wrong time, we lost crews. They got shot down. Yeah, it wasn't a wartime situation.
And go beyond that. You said, I think you told me one time, you just said it so casually, like everybody knows this. I'm like, no, if it's peacetime and it's not active combat going on, I don't think anybody dies other than a rare case of I would think it's a rare case of an accident. You're saying it ain't rare. People get sucked into engines. They fall off the boat. The plane runs out of fuel and just disappears. And you're kind of like, and what struck me about the way you so casually said it was, we're taught just to keep going. And it isn't until years later, you talk about post-traumatic stress, that you wake up and go, oh my God, I'm still feeling that from 20 years ago, that loss, that shock, but I had to suppress it then, suck it up, keep going on the mission, even though maybe I'm scared crazy or I knew these people well or it just upset me that it was that dangerous.
Again, it's like even with going to sick call. It's just something you didn't do.
It's something you didn't do. So let's talk about that one. You've talked about that. So you didn't do it. You knew you were upset. You knew there's a problem. You can't sleep. You're having nightmares or whatever the first signs are that there's something disturbed and it's not just going away. It's not just a bad dream and you can't just shake it off. If it's post-traumatic stress or some other condition, you don't go. You suck it up and you keep going. Now you go later and you say, oh man, I got a problem. I need some help. And they're like, you didn't report it.
And that's a major problem because again, the military, they want evidence.
Yeah.
But that's why they came up with certain presumptive claims now. Because I got a friend of mine that was stationed on Guam with me. And I'm not going to mention his name, but he ended up with actually two friends ended up with high blood pressure.
Okay.
And I'm talking about one of the friends, the high blood pressure was so bad that he was hospitalized. But again, when you're younger, your body can absorb this, you're indestructible.
Right.
When you're younger. But as you start getting older, all of those effects, everything that you did back then, they began to manifest itself in the body.
Tell me about it.
So, I didn't know it at the time, but when I was stationed on Guam, guess where they had the chemicals based on Agent Orange? They stored it on Guam. Stored it on Guam.
And of course, it wasn't completely sealed properly, perhaps, or they moved around, or it spilled.
Well, not only did they store it, but they used to use it there. And so, based on the PAC Act, if you were the claim cuts off in 1980. I got there in 1981, but I have friends again based on the reunions. They were there long before that, and so again, knowing that the military the Navy put you in certain positions, even though it was the Air Force, you were there. So, certain, like I said, some claims are just presumptive.
So you're talking about why vets don't get in. One is an attitude. Just suck it up and don't go to sick call and, hoorah, let's go. And I'm tough. I'm indestructible. I'm young. I can shake it off. There's that whole attitude, which I completely understand. Part of it is the mission's got to keep going. I can't afford to be sick. I got to be on times. My buddies are requiring. I'm part of a unit. And so I'm going to push myself that way. Even if I'm not just trying to be tough, I feel a certain responsibility. And then on top of that, if you don't, later on, and you realize, this ain't going away. I'll give you a perfect example. My wife had a car accident years ago. Turned out to be rather serious. She was T-boned. She was hit, on the side. And afterwards, she called from her cell phone. The police were there, ambulance, and I rushed down there. She said, I'm fine.
Right.
And so don't take me to the hospital, no problems, nothing. It wasn't until weeks later she started feeling in her back and neck here. And by then, now we're arguing because they said, well, you said you're fine.
Right. Yeah. And so I can give you another example of trauma. Because again, that's what we're talking about. A lot of times it's trauma and avoidance and denial.
And it can be not just mental trauma, but physical trauma.
Yeah.
The body that you don't feel it till later because you're pumped up and you're all adrenaline's flowing and everything here.
Yeah. Well, we had I'm kind of dating myself, but we had an F-4 Phantom. Okay. I was coming in on the USS Midway.
I'm a big military historian. I know the F-4 Phantom.
Yeah, the USS Midway.
Turned up wings at the end.
Yeah, it's the Midway is now a museum in San Diego.
Yeah,
and I'm proud to say I have a lifetime membership card.
Do you really?
Because I served.
You got to take me down there sometime. I'd love to see the Midway Museum. You were on the Midway?
You got it, yeah. Well, I did deployments. I was stationed in a squadron called VQ-1, which was a reconnaissance squadron.
Moved around.
But we flew the A-3, which again was a counter-electronic or electronic warfare
the
aircraft.
Big circular thing over
No,
there?
not that one. This was at the time. It was like the fastest jet in the fleet without afterburners. It was an A-3, EA-3B.
Okay.
So again, electronic warfare. But make a long story short, we had an F-4 Phantom coming in, and I was a final checker, and so quality assurance.
But it was flight avionics or something here.
Yeah, but basically, it was a photo bird, meaning that it was a reconnaissance plane. It took pictures,
right?
And so it had a problem with the nose gear. And so the hydraulics wouldn't let the nose gear come down, and so backup is a pneumatic bottle, which is air to try to force it out,
right,
or force it down. And so the hydraulics didn't work. They went to the pneumatics. The pneumatics didn't work, and they didn't want to ditch this F-4 because of the pictures, the equipment.
Ditch it meaning pushing it off, or just
ditch it meaning like in the water.
They didn't land it in the water,
right?
Yeah.
And so we had to rig the barricade. And so we rigged the barricade, and the F-4 came in, and it slammed on the deck, and it slid and lost the nose cone, and it caught on fire for a brief minute. But again, the fire crew was Johnny on the spot,
right?
So they got the pilots out the plane, and so you have those moments and those experiences where it was just a job. It was routine. It was something we did while we were in the Indian Ocean.
Right.
And so the pilots were okay. The plane was totaled, had a brief fire, but it was business as usual. We cleared the deck, and all of a sudden we're recovering aircraft again. So you didn't have time to decompress or decompose or to process all this information.
And had that pilot died, and you knew the pilot, or somebody you knew, or to witness death, I don't witness death. I don't see people get killed or die on a regular basis.
Well, again, the pilots, they didn't die on that incident, but there was an incident where, again, same USS Midway, there was a malfunction with the catapult.
Oh.
And this F-4 Phantom was on the catapult, ready to go. And the reason I know about this is because I was doing a disability claim, and I was looking at the accident, the incident report based on the USS Midway, and come to find out, the pilot passed away. And so when the plane was on the deck, at the catapult, it was a loud explosion, and the plane started to just slowly go down the flight deck, but it didn't have enough speed to take off.
Oh.
So finally, the backseat of the Rio punched out, before the plane even left the deck.
Right.
But the pilot, once the plane left the deck, he decided to punch out. But the plane, there was called a yaw, or it rolled over.
Rolled over.
And so when it rolled over, he went right into the water. And I knew it's like, he didn't survive that. So it was ironic to look at to see the accident report, and then to research it more and find out that there was a law firm. The wife had filed a lawsuit, and the law firm that was representing them was in San Diego. And come to find out, she literally sued not the U.S. Navy, but the manufacturer of that created that defect on that catapult. Yeah.
All of which is to say, it's an incredibly dangerous and stressful world. And in the moment, you suck it up, you go on, hoorah, you're tough, you're indestructible, you're young, you're part of a team, come on, keep going. And then later on, your body, it's like an old, a weird analogy, but sort of like an old football player. All these injuries and things you push through start piling up, and suddenly your knees don't work, your back doesn't work, all this stuff, and you go back to the VA, and they say, what? Well, you didn't complain, you didn't file anything, so how do I know it happened then and not now?
Exactly. So one of the takeaways I want people that hear my voice, if you're on active duty military, don't wait. If you have issues, go to sick call. If you're not sleeping, go to medical.
Problems, issues, right? Different,
whatever it is,
serious stuff, right?
Seek the help that you need at that time, and make sure that is documented.
Right.
Even if you're having issues because a lot of times you have to do PT or physical training.
Right.
And you may injure yourself. You may sprain an ankle or something. So they'll give you like ibuprofen and stuff. Well, a lot of times you're taking so much ibuprofen when you're on active duty that once you get out, you start having stomach problems. You start having acid reflux.
Right.
So here's the thing. If you're on active duty and you went to medical sick call and they can see where they were giving you all this ibuprofen, once you file your claim, you could have a 30 or 40% percentage disability rating just for GERD, which is acid reflux.
Wow.
Yeah, so even like some people, they
so you don't have to lose an arm to go file for disability. Or you
do not. No, you
lots of issues that aren't being covered that should be being covered because nobody knew what to do at the time, and the culture, the rush, the age, everything is like, keep going.
A lot of it is even back issues because your back.
Oh. Very touchy.
And the body is trying to, when you start having back issues, the body's trying to compensate for that.
Exactly.
So you can have hip problems, you can have knee problems.
You're standing strange because your back hurts, and now you're putting weight on your hip and other thing. So we talk about a physical therapy show.
Yeah, and the VA understands this. So you have, not only do you have primary disability claims, but you have secondary beneficiary claims as well.
So do people come to you? You're a wealth coach, but I hear all the time that you're a health advisor for the VA. People come to you and say, Tyrone, I didn't even know where to start. I don't know how to go through this because it ain't easy. Apparently, it doesn't fill out one form and you're done.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not an accredited advisor with the VA,
right?
But I share my experience based on some of the things that I went through and the process that I went through to get my disability claim taken care of. So what I do is I point people into the right direction. I make sure that they're talking to a qualified veteran services officer, which is a VSO.
Okay.
And I make sure that even with the organizations that they're dealing with, it could be Dave. It could be, it could be going directly to the VA. But a lot of times people think that they have to pay money for these services. And that's the first thing I tell them is that, no, you don't have to pay for these services. It's free. You can file your own disability claim right at va.gov.
There you go.
I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do that.
So is it as complicated as I fear it would be because it's the government and it's paperwork on top of paperwork? Is it confused? Do people give up? They start and they say, I can't figure this out.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part, that it is a process. Initially it's a lengthy process. Now they may, like for me, my first claim that I received was for tinnitus and hearing loss.
Okay. And
so they gave me a 10% rating for tinnitus, but I had other outstanding claims that were pending. So they gave me back pay for the tinnitus. Matter of fact, when I started my account, I didn't know what it was. And so
ringing in the ear.
So when I got my first compensation check, I literally called the VA. It's like, yeah, this, you qualify for this, but your other claims are still pending. Now, the other claims took me about a year. One claim took about 2 years.
Wow.
But, for me, it was a 5-year process. But, right now, I have a 100% disability rating that's permanent in total.
All these things have added up.
Yeah.
All right. So if somebody wanted to just reach out to you, would you talk to them?
Absolutely.
How do they reach you?
Well, if you want to email me, just go to TyroneFrench.com. Tyrone, my first and last name, TyroneFrench.com. You can always call and leave me a message at 877-296-5192. I'll repeat that again. That's 877-296-5192 is a toll-free number. So I take care of the expense on my end. But you can always go to my website and contact me there at TyroneFrench.com.
Because maybe it's just talking to somebody and saying, am I crazy or should I be doing this? Maybe it's admitting to somebody for the first time, hey, I'm scared or I don't know what to do or I'm lost or whatever.
Well, I can tell you this. This is what my counselor told me. It has nothing to do with being crazy. It has everything to do with having trauma.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't understand what trauma was.
And how much of it is built into the day-to-day job.
Yes, exactly. So again, when you're on active duty, the military creates veterans. The military, so if you're on active duty right now, just know that one day you're going to become a veteran.
Yeah.
And so you need to put yourself in a position to whereas you maximize the opportunity of being a veteran. And what I'm telling you is that it's okay to file a disability claim. It's okay to receive compensation.
If you made a contract for me to come over and paint your house,
right,
and then I didn't come to collect the money because I said it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that big of a deal. But we agreed you were going to pay me I was going to get certain things for painting your house. Why wouldn't I be a fool if I didn't go collect all that stuff? Or why would I feel bad about saying I shouldn't charge you that much? It wasn't that hard.
Again, I don't understand that process, but you got a lot of people right now that could literally be using their educational benefits that are just letting them go to waste. You're
doing that right now.
I'm not letting them go to waste. I'm maximizing.
That's what I'm saying. You're using them. Yeah.
Yes. Even with dental. As you start, when you're young on active duty, you're not thinking about dental.
Yeah.
But as you start getting older, dental is
huge.
Matter of fact,
expensive.
As a matter of fact, if your teeth if you have bad teeth, your bad dental situation in your mouth can lead to heart disease
and brain disease and all sorts of this because of
the bacteria.
The teeth. Yeah, bacteria.
Because again, it's right there. That bacteria goes right into your bloodstream under your tongue.
Right.
So again, to have dental benefit, to have the vision where you can get glasses every 2 years. As a civilian, a lot of these things add up. You got to have, the health care, you can spend thousands of dollars a month just for quality health care that you can get for free with your family from the VA.
The crazy things with like your car registration or something?
Yeah, even your car. At 100% in California, your car registration is waived.
So people are just walking. They're not even thinking of this stuff. They're thinking, well, I'm not 100%. I'm not 50%. I'm 20%. I've still got my arms. I've still got my legs. Yeah, I got these problems. So what? Everybody does. Well, you signed a contract. You were put in harm's way. You did what the rest of us couldn't do or wouldn't do. You put your life on the line, and by God, the government's ready and willing and able to compensate you for
It is
that.
not. It is, and again, I can't state this enough times. It is not a handout.
Yeah, that's right.
You earned these benefits.
That's the key.
You served.
That's the key.
You put on that uniform. You raised your right hand, and you said you took an oath, and you fulfilled that oath, and now you're entitled to those benefits.
Absolutely.
Now, what I can say about the VA now, there used to be a backlog, and they're working. They're working through that backlog at a record pace. So kudos for.
You should get somebody to come on from the VA once and just talk about the process. They must be frustrated too. They've got money to help. They've got people ready to hear and do this. Maybe it's a little complicated. Maybe it's a little confusing. Maybe it's a little lengthy. But they're there to help you. Do they push back? Is it like, I'm going through this refrigerator. I have a warranty, and I feel like they're just putting me off. They don't want to pay it off. They're doing everything they can not. Does the government run you around just because they don't want to pay you?
Well, actually, they're doing a better job because now you can literally go outside of the VA. If you can't get an appointment to see a doctor, you can literally.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, schedule an appointment outside of the VA. So I haven't had a problem with care with the VA. That hasn't been my history, my experience. So yeah, to me, it's a great
So
healthcare
don't view
system.
them as a bad thing, a difficult thing. Just understand it's a process, and work with somebody who's been through the process, even if they can just help you, point you in the right direction.
I couldn't have said it better.
Okay.
Couldn't have said it better.
We'll leave it there. One more time, how do they reach you?
Again, I want you to, if you want to email me, go to Tyrone@TyroneFrench.com. You go to my website, leave me the contact information, TyroneFrench.com. You can always text me, Tyrone French at 36260. And again, or download my app at TyroneFrench.app.com.
And you always say you're always closing the wealth gap. Maybe today you're closing the knowledge gap. How about that? Love it. That's our show for this week. Closing the Wealth Gap. The one show, the only show that shows you how to take control of your financial future. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OCTalkRadio.net.